Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're going to be talking about the spell Telepathy. Wob, wob, wob.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Mm. That's it. That's
All right.
everyone. That's
Thank you for
mind
joining
waves.
us. All right.
Yeah.
What how do you feel about this? Does this one get your blood pumping?
No.
Yeah, me either. It's cool, I guess. I'm sure it's undoubtedly useful in a bunch of situations, but it's nothing that really
Is
excites me. Yeah, well, let's find out. What does it do? I
it?
mean,
Okay.
it's telepathy. We know what it does, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's true. So it's an 8th level spell is where we're going to start, and that's not to be undersold. This is an
Oh,
8th level spell. Now, granted, it takes an action to cast, so that's not a limited range. Okay. You need a pair of linked silver rings. Sure, for some reason, I don't know. It doesn't consume them or anything, but that's nifty. Uh,
that's the components are just silly
I
sometimes.
I love spell components so much. In any case, duration's full day, 24 hours. You create a link between yourself and a willing creature, one willing creature, which you are familiar. The creature can be anywhere on the same plane of existence with you. The spell ends if you target it. The spell ends if you or the target leave the plane. Until the spell ends, you can instantly share words, images, sounds, sensory messages, everything with each other. You can communicate with each other. You know you're communicating with each other. You can send whatever. It's mental. You're sharing brains basically for the day. It also enables a creature with an intelligence score of at least 1 to understand the meaning of the words and take in the scope of the message you're sending them by like using the images and stuff. So basically, this is the world's highest level sending. And that's really the only benefit. And that's kind of bad.
Well,
Kind of bad, man.
there are other similar spells. So there's what I forgot what they were. Telepathic
Telepathic
something.
bond, yes.
Telepathic bond. Yeah, that's
I'll
what I was
briefly touch
thinking.
on that one because I think it's an apt reason as to why this spell is. I'm gonna go as far as saying uncastable. So telepathic bond is a 5th level spell that takes an action to cast. It's also a ritual spell, which means you don't have to spend spell slots to use it. It lasts only an hour, but you can forge a telepathic bond with 8 creatures within range, and as
Right.
long as you're on the same plane of existence, you can communicate with each other within that hour. Which means if you're doing like heist threats and stuff, that's a usable thing for it. It lets you communicate while you're going and navigating social encounters freely in the mind. It lets like a bunch of other things like metagaming stuff feel a lot more fair. But then we also have like sending, and sending is just you send a message, and it's a 3rd level slot, I believe. Let me
And
double check. But like,
what's the
I don't.
range on that one?
You send a short message over 25 words or less to a creature you are familiar. Um, you can send it to any distance, including other planes of existence.
Really?
But if it's on a different plane than you, there's a 5% chance to not happen. So for a 3rd level slot, you can send a single message any distance and get 1 response back. I'm struggling to justify why telepathy is worth that much more of a resource. Like an 8th
No.
level slot.
The biggest thing I'm thinking of having to use this for is, you know, talking to your huge high level wizard friend and saying, "Help me! Here's my location," which can be done with sending.
Correct. What I
Teleport your
envision,
ass
right?
over here now.
I'm more envisioning like what happens is you use sending as the 5th level wizard to talk to the archmage of the academy, and they'll be like, "Hey, can you call me, please? I need you to come pick me up." And then they're like, "Oh my god, what's happening?" And then they cast the telepathy, and they go, "Okay, what's going on? Do you need me to come get you? Where's everyone? Is everyone okay? Has anyone died?" And you're like, "Can you please come get us with a portal?" And then they come pick you up, and everything's fine and dandy because that's the only reasonable way. Like, you as a player, no one's gonna telepathy you. You're gonna be telepathying people. And like at least as a DM tool, you can be like, great, I can have the ancient gold dragon talk to the party from any distance whenever I need to. I can have the lich communicate with their servants across the world over any distance. The fact that for some reason sending can go extra planar and telepathy can't, I find baffling, to be
Yeah, that's
honest.
nuts.
Like, if you're gonna spend an 8th level slot on telepathy and you can't talk to people on other planes, but a 3rd level spell can, I'm like, whoa, hold up. Something's not right here. Like, what is telepathy even going to do for you is my question. And then
Yeah, I mean, like I hope our commenters will say, but I'm struggling to come up with a whole lot that's amazing,
mhm,
8th level worthy.
like I'm gonna say something brash here.
Uh-oh.
I'm not convinced this is better than Animal Messenger, if I'm gonna be entirely honest with you. Because at least Animal Messenger is a ritual. Like, I don't, when
Now, animal, but all right, again, I'm going back to crying for help. But yeah, if you're in a dire situation, your animal messenger is going to take months to get to where you need him to go.
hours, it does specify it has to be within a few hours of you,
Oh,
but
even
yes.
worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then you have sending immediately above that, right? With a still lower level slot, but only one spell level higher than Animal Messenger, which is any distance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for the relative power for spell level, I would expect telepathy, like sending is like the what was the enemies are coming with a bunch of war machines, right? Like you alert the city in advance that the goblins are raiding or whatever.
Right.
The British are coming. The British are coming. You, if that's what you're using telepathy for, nope,
Ah,
that's not it. You could, if you want long distance communication for a long period of time, find familiar. You can just leave your squirrel, you can just leave your weasel, you can just leave your raven with a person, go off on your grand adventure, and then communicate with them via bird. And I think you're going to have a way better time because the bird can just, scribble and draw things as you tell it to. You can use it as a means of communication with the person over long distance. And that is a first level spell.
Yeah.
So if you really need this effect, you can just have your familiar do it.
Yeah. Or use sending.
Or just use sending. Do you really need to, like, who wants to be talking to the same person for 24 hours unbroken? That sounds awful, frankly. Yeah. Sharing all your thoughts, details, whatever you want. Oh God, no. If I can't mute a text chain, I can't be a part of that text chain. Like that telepathy, I don't see it. I don't see what justifies it being 8th level slot. I don't see what justifies it being like limited to one person. I don't see what all of the other telepathic abilities in this game are better than this, and almost all of them are lower level.
Well, I
it's
mean,
wild.
Are there any higher level?
None of to mind,
No.
but
Yeah,
you
right.
need to cover your bases.
Yeah.
Maybe in 2 years they'll release one, and it'll be telepathy, but for any number of creatures over extra planes. Sure, why not? That can be a 9th level effect.
Telepathy.
Mass telepathy, 9th level spell. Not worth it, probably still. I'm gonna come out. If they print mass telepathy, you have it here first, folks. Not worth the cast. Yeah. It's hard to talk more about this because it's just bad.
Yeah, it does one thing, and I don't know, maybe it's a fault of ours, but neither of us can come up with anything amazing to do with it. I got faith in our commenters though. We've both crapped on spells before, and they've come out of the woodwork to tell us why we're wrong. I'd like you to do that now.
Right this very
Call
second.
to action.
Do it. Tell us that telepathy's actually baller, and you've used it on your wizard before, and you're like, this saved the lives of everyone in the campaign, and I will never go back to cast another spell ever again because telepathy was just that good. I hope that
do not regret putting this on my sheet.
That honestly is all we can really ask for.
Well, score.
Nope.
Yeah,
this isn't it.
I mean, the effect by itself, I would rate higher, but considering it's 8th level and considering the myriad of other options that are available, then yeah, I'm going to agree.
I think it would not be underselling to say this could be a 4th level spell. And I'd be like, I guess that's a good enough versus sending that you'll sometimes want it over sending. This is an 8th level slot. That's definitely not it.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to translate a book or something.
All right, we have the evil Necronomicon. I'm going to read out verbatim in my brain so it doesn't verbalize to the universe the whole of the text of the Necronomicon, and you're going to copy it over back in the safety of some big wizarding academy, I guess.
All right, you know what? I do feel better that I came up with an okay use for why you might need this for 24 hours.
Is that a good reason? Is that really a good reason?
It's something, though.
It is a reason. Okay, all right, I'll take that. I'll take a reason.
Maybe
you need to recite the entirety works of a playwright before he dies.
Yeah.
That's, I think, about as common.
All right, everyone. That was Telepathy. Please, again, share your thoughts below. Looking forward to reading them. Thank you, Sam, and thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.